Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing? I'm just here editing my book. A lot of people have asked me about my writing process and that kind of thing, and I just decided that I would just start sharing with y'all. For those of you that are interested, because some people are interested in basically my writing process. Y'all know who it is. It's y'all favorite dark-skinned chick. I gotta say that at first. Y'all know I gotta get that in there. Your favorite dark-skinned chick, Rashida Strober, the world's first dark-skinned activist. Rashida Strober, the inventor of dark-skin activism. Rashida Strober, the woman who made dark skin an issue. Rashida Strober, the queen of dark skin. And a lot of y'all know, hold on, I got all my stuff on the table here. But a lot of y'all know that I'm the author of multiple books on dark skin. In fact, I have written the most books of anyone in the world on dark skin. Here are a few: Darkism, 25 Ways Dark Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, How to Be the Hottest Dark Skinned Chick on the Planet, which is the first motivational book in the world for dark skinned females, and My Baby, A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, which is the book version of my play, A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. All right, so I'm going to put those books right there. So, like I said, people ask me, they want to know what my writing process is. And I'm just, it's pretty straightforward for me. Like, the only thing is, the biggest thing that I would say is discipline. You got to be disciplined. That's the biggest thing, discipline and finding time. So this is random. I mean, I'm gonna come on here and talk a little bit, and then I'm actually sitting here editing my 5th book on dark skin. It is called Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story. So, and I'm drinking some beet juice here this morning too. Yeah, so y'all see me drinking this, y'all wondering what in the world is that stuff she got in that blender. It is my beet juice. I got up this morning, and when people ask me what my writing process is, I know everybody has a different one. My writing process, I need to have like clear thinking, like super clear thinking, because if I feel like anything is unorganized, or if I feel like my body doesn't feel good, or if I can't function under that. So like I said, everybody got their own writing process. I do not like beet juice, for the record. I only drink it for the health benefits. I don't like the taste. So if you see me squinch my face and go like that, that's why. I don't like beet juice. But like I said, I love the health benefits. It gives me a lot of energy. So I need to do I got certain little rituals that I do where I'm performing or most productive at getting shit done. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it's all about. Like, you got to get shit done. And that's the problem that I see, that with a lot of people that talk to me. I've even been approached by people. They've asked me to ghostwrite for them. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I feel like it's an honor to be asked that, but honestly, I don't have time. And plus, I be writing so many of my own books, and I have all these ideas because I only write books on dark skin. Like I said, I've written more books than anyone in the world on dark skin. Like, that is what I do. Like, so that's what I'm focused on. But again, it takes a lot of work. Let me put this over here. Hold on, y'all. Oops. I had to bend that down. And like I said, my writing process is, I'm just straightening out the computer here. It's just discipline. I have to like force and discipline myself, because some days I have days where I feel like I got a lot of and I just want to write, and I want to get, and usually those are the days when I'm like pissed off for whatever reason. Like, I don't know, people say anger is bad, but when I get mad, I get more productive. I just throw it all into my writing, or maybe add something to a play that I wrote, because that's my way of getting it out. So it's really about discipline. I'm gonna keep it 100. It's really about discipline. You must be disciplined. to do it. And again, I have, good morning. I just got somebody just inboxed me. But you really have to be disciplined. And then what I would highly recommend too is sometimes I will get up early in the morning and write. Like I'll get up at 5. That's where the fruits and vegetables come in, with the juicing and the high rawness. I'm not fully raw when we talk about raw fruits and vegetables. But to be honest with y'all, eating raw foods, the more raw foods you eat and the more raw juices and stuff like that you drink, when I say raw, I'm talking about made from fruits and vegetables, it helps with your productivity. This is no lie. I know some people look at me like I'm crazy when I be saying that to them, but I'm serious. Like, for example, one of my main goals is to get up early, because I feel like if you get up early, let's say you normally wake up, I don't know, at 8 o'clock. Well, how about trying getting up an hour and a half early? And then that'll give you time to do maybe an hour or 30 minutes of whatever project it is that you're working on. So for me, this is what happens for me. And I don't know if you try this at home, it might work for you. But when I'm high raw, and when I say high raw, I mean, I want to say about maybe 95% raw foods, because I do still eat cooked vegan meals. But let's say if I'm going like 95% raw, I notice I get up early. Like I get up super early because, and usually when I'm going like 95% raw, I'm having juices all day long, right? And then I'm eating one meal. So one meal during the day. And sometimes I'll just have smoothies all day long. And what's happening is the body is not expending energy digesting food. So it leaves energy for you to be able to do other things. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm hoping I'm getting across the link between raw foods and productivity. The rawness, the raw foods, the juices, it gives me more energy to get up early in the morning. And then therefore that gives me more time to put into the projects that I have to complete. So those are some of the tactics and the tips that I use when people say, what is your writing process? How do you get these books written? What do you do? Another thing that I do too, and I'm gonna be reading some snippets from my book here. Y'all see me looking over here. Some of y'all watched my live stream the other day. If you guys see me looking this way and doing this, it is because I am sitting here with my laptop and it's old. I'm working on my lovely manuscript. It's called Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story, because I'm hell-bent. Y'all know I'm hell-bent on telling the story of how dark skin became an issue and how I put it on the map. That is the truth. And this book, I'm at 192 pages, but it's not even about the length of the book. It is the quality. It is the quality of what's in there and what I got to say. And what I got to say is fire. I'm giving y'all the history of how the dark skin activism paradigm was placed on the map. Y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna absolutely love this book. I'm telling you, I love the damn book. I love it. I'm excited as hell about Inventing Dark. Now, I'm excited about my other books. I'm just gonna pull them from over here. I'm excited about my other books. Don't get me wrong. I love these books. I love my books. I am very proud of myself. And if you ever write a book, if you've written a book, you understand what I mean. I'm very proud of myself for completing because sometimes we visualize stuff, we say we want to do stuff, but for me, it's all about the fucking results. When I can see the finished results, I'm happy. And by the way, y'all can go to my website, queenofdarkskin.com, and that is where you can get my books. They're $25 each, and the proceeds go to funding my production of A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. Where is it at? A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. So if you donate at my GoFundMe, you will get an electronic copy of my book, A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. And currently, I am working on negotiating a venue in New York City. This year, I set out to do more live performances of A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge than I've done in past years, because normally I only do one. And I've done like 2 so far. I'm very excited about it. In March, I did Tucson, Arizona, made some phenomenal contacts out there. And then I did the DC Black Theater Festival. Y'all can go see the clip of one of the characters on my YouTube channel, and now I am negotiating a New York venue. So y'all, it's all about putting in that work. So that's one of the reasons why I wasn't able to like devote myself wholeheartedly to finishing my fifth book. Y'all, I'm very ambitious. That's another thing. You got to be fucking ambitious. And I'm one of those people that's super ambitious. I believe the sky's the limit, but you got to put in that work. I believe that anybody can do any fucking thing they want to. Anybody can become self-actualized, but you got to put in that work. You got to find a way. You got to fight to put in that work. And that's my driving force. That's another tip I will give you. I'm driven to let the world know about dark skin activism, let the world know about my work. That drives me. Like, that's my driving damn force. So when I wake up every day, that's what's in my head. It's like, okay, I got to get this done. So that's it. You need to just, you need to have passion and drive, and you need to love it, because during the times where you feel like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, I can't do this. If you love what you're doing, your ass gonna find a way. You gonna find a way. You're not gonna make excuses. You might sit there, because sometimes I'll sit there and I'll sulk and I'll be like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. I do that because I get overwhelmed. Everybody does. I'm human. Let me tell y'all something. I get overwhelmed big time. That's another one of the reasons why I be on my juicing, because my juicing brings it down, gives me energy. I go do my little run, and that serotonin release brings it down, and then I'm able to be more productive. So the point is, you have to find ways to make it happen, to make it go, and keep going. When you run into problems, and I've run into so many problems I can't count, y'all. I done ran into so many obstacles, but when you run into problems, okay, because you love what you do and you're passionate about it, guess what? You're going to say, okay, I'm going to pick myself up, dust myself off, and we're going to revamp and re-strategize. So that's another tip that I could give you if you want to write a book. You got to fucking just love it and be passionate, because that's really the driving force. And honestly, that's got to come from within. Like, I can't, it has to come from within. Like, that's just what it is. Like, so yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm editing. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm editing my book. I just wanted to give y'all a couple of little updates. Y'all could go also check out my Wednesday. I was interviewed by O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm doing a documentary on my daughter. It's called A Dark Skinned Girl's First Day of School. And since I was bullied for being dark skinned, like, I'm the original. I have to say this, y'all. If y'all tired of me saying I'm the original, then you best well just tune out, or you can unfriend, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I am the original in terms of telling stories about my dark skin experience. I am the original. Everybody else is following after in my footsteps, because nobody was doing this. I already got the books to prove it. I already started it back in 1998. I got so much history. Hence the reason why I'm writing Inventing Dark Skin Activism, because I have receipts. I have all kinds of documentation and proof that I'm going to be presenting in this book that show people, students of dark skin activism, whether you are current students or future students of dark skin activism, y'all gonna understand how this whole dark skin thing came into fruition. So my latest piece of activism work is the documentary that I'm doing on my daughter, because she just entered the public school system. She just started kindergarten. And for me, when I entered the public school system, that is where the bulk of the great, I would say 50% came from my family, 50% came from society, which I would say is school. So I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to document my dark-skinned daughter's entry into the public school system and beyond. So that's what I'm doing. So I did an interview on O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel. Let me see if I could go ahead and pull that up. I'm all over the place. They're just rambling. Let me take another sip of my beet juice, y'all. I do not like beet juice at all. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna pull up the interview for y'all, so you guys could check it out. O'Shea and I did not start off well. He had actually made a sort of kind of negative video about me like a year ago, but you know, we connected, and since then I have appeared 4 times on his show. And, I think that is great because we were able to reconcile with each other and sit down and have an adult conversation about the issues of darkism. So I think that the interview went well. I thought it was fantastic. I think the interviews get better every time, and I just posted it there for you guys so you guys could go ahead and check it out. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do right now, for those of you that are interested, like I said, how you doing, Dwayne? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that. For those of you that are interested, all I'm doing right now is I'm at home and I'm writing. I'm editing, should I say, not writing, because I've already written the book, Inventing Dark Skin Activism, but I am editing the book right now. And I'm just, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna read over a little section. And then, like I said, if you see me looking this way, it's simply because I'm sitting here editing my book and I have my laptop sitting right here and I'm talking to y'all off my other laptop. So the next section I just kind of edited, and y'all got to excuse me if I start editing right here in front of you and typing, because that's what I'm doing. I just told y'all that is what I'm doing. And by the way, for those of you that are just tuning in, thank you for watching. You guys are watching Rashida Strober, the world's first dark-skinned activist. Rashida Strober, your favorite dark-skinned chick. And I'm giving y'all the history of how I came up with all these dark-skinned slogans. Y'all, I'm so excited. This book right here is going to be the book that I'm going to promote the hell out of. Watching, y'all gonna see, because I ain't playing about this. Like I said, this is legacy. Game on, legacy time. That's what this book is about. It's so important to me, because one thing about African Americans, what we got to learn how to do is we got to learn how to sit down and pen our history. There is the tradition in Africa of the oral history, the griot. I respect my history as a person of African descent, but here's what I want to tell you. You always have to improve and get better. Look at your history as a springboard for improving. You understand? So what we have to do, and what I said that I was going to do, is I was going to pen my own history as the world's first dark-skinned activist. So when I'm dead and gone, because no one's going to live forever, then guess what? The students of dark-skinned activism, they'll have a history of how this whole thing got started. So this is why this is so important to me. So I'm working on a section called Shut Up About Dark Skin. That's what it's called. Shut Up About Dark Skin. And for those of you that are just tuning in, I'm editing my book and I'm just sitting here going through the process. So this chapter is called Shut Up About Dark Skin. So from 1998 and on, I had been going on and on about dark skin to anyone who would listen. Some in my family simply did not want to hear it. I was seen as jealous, envious, divisive, and a hater. I was accused. And by the way, another thing that I'm thinking about doing, y'all, I'm thinking about doing an audio book version of this, because I actually did an audio book version. Let me just preface this with saying, because some of y'all don't realize this, y'all don't know this. Folks, I am an actor. I'm a performer. That is what I do. I do voiceovers. I've done plays. I've done television. I have a one-woman show that I've been performing for years, wrote it back in 2006. I am a performer. So what I've done is infused what I believe about the world and needs to be changed into my art form, into my God-given talent to act and publicly speak and all these kinds of things. So I'm a public speaker. I've spoken in schools about darkism, churches. Like I said, I've done the play. I am a performer. So one of the things that I'm thinking about doing that I did with my other book, and by the way, you guys can go check that out as well. It's called, hold on one second. I'm gonna go to my website, which is queenofdarkskin.com, queenofdarkskin.com. You guys can actually go to my website and listen to my life story. It's called A Dark Skinned Girl's Triumph, the Rashida Strober story. And it has rave reviews. People love it. I call it an audio movie. And I recorded it back in 2008 at Hiram Hazley Studios. Shout out to you. And he did such an excellent job on mastering it and mixing it and all the stuff that he did. So you guys could actually listen to that for free. I did all the voiceover work, all the characters. I did everything. Again, I'm an artist. So this is what I do. So one of the things I'm thinking about doing is doing a professional voice recording, just like how I did, or audio book, should I say, just the same way that I did with my other play called A Dark Skinned Girl's Triumph. And I just posted it in the comment section. So when you get time, you guys can go listen to that. But back to, who is this calling me? Hold on, y'all. Hello? Hey, what's up? You know what? You caught me right in the middle of a live stream. I got to save your number in my phone. I didn't. I didn't know. I haven't saved your number yet. I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'll call you as soon as I'm finished. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. All right. So here we go. So this chapter is called "Shut Up, Shut Up About Dark Skin." From 1998 and on, I had been going on and on about dark skin to anyone who would listen. Some in my family simply did not want to hear it. I was seen as jealous, envious, divisive, and a hater. I was accused of especially hating light-skinned women. I was told that I was just upset because I was not light-skinned. I would get into some of the most heated debates about dark skin with a certain family member who eventually kicked me out of her house for going on and on and on about dark skin. It is ironic how the same criticism I faced from my family in regards to me speaking on dark skin discrimination is the same criticism that I faced years later when I brought dark skin activism to the internet and opened up a whole new lane of thought that was never heard of before. It was a hot day, and I had just walked to the store for a particular family member. As I walked back to her house from the store and through the alley, I saw three black girls around the age of 10 years old playing in the back of the family member's yard. One of the girls was super dark skinned. She said to the other girl as they played, "I got Indian in my family." Now, some of y'all, I took down all my videos on YouTube because people started plagiarizing my work. But if you guys started following me like back in like 2014 when I started my YouTube channel, I have a video on there that I made called "I Got Indian in My Family." And in these 10-year-old girls back in this was 99 or 2000, they inspired this whole scene that I saw in the back of my family member's house with this girl saying this. This is what she said. She said, "I got Indian in my family." And she was just like, so proud. "I got Indian in my family." Anyway, so she said, "I got Indian in my family." When I heard her say this, I began, and by the way, guys, I have to let you know, I keep referencing the historical facts here. I keep referencing going back to 98 because, again, one of the reasons why I'm writing this book is because I'm being plagiarized. I'm being plagiarized by black women on YouTube and people on the internet that are sitting back on the internet watching my work, trying to create knockoff versions of something that I've developed organically way back in 98. So when I throw in these dates, all it is because it's historical proof. Let me also preface this with saying, and I don't say this to impress you, I say it so you understand why I do what I do. I have a bachelor's degree in history. I have a master's degree in political science, and I have taught history. So I'm the type of person that believes that you gotta get the facts, the historical facts, and you gotta credit people who created things. So that's very important. I'm approaching this. It might be entertaining to some, but make no mistake about it. I approach what I do from an academic, intellectual standpoint, and then turn it into what I want it to be, but it's based on the facts. So if you guys hear me say, "Oh, back in 98 or because I'm setting up the foundation that I've been doing this. I set the whole foundation for people to even speak on dark skin. If they're not woman enough or man enough or honest enough to do it, then guess what? God gave me a brain and the talent to write. So I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to tell the history for you. You understand? So I just want people to understand why I might go back and say in 1998 or I did da 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 da, because I'm setting up the historical foundation of dark skin activism and creating this lane that we see other dark skinned people talking about, but they're not giving Rashida Strober, the world's first dark skinned activist, credit for it. And I'm hell bent on getting my credit and my acknowledgement. I'm hell bent on it. I'm keeping it 100 with you. I'm not even fucking playing about it. Because I done went through so much for speaking on dark skin, and I'm not going to allow other people, not without an intellectual fight, to come along. I don't care if you're a black woman. I don't care who you are. Because like I have to keep saying black women because those are the ones that are doing this. I'm calling y'all out, and they know who they are. So I'm not going to allow these women, because they're not honest and they're not confident in themselves, to give another black woman their props. Well, guess what? I'm going to do it for you because I can do that. And because I'm honest. Most of all, I'm an honest black woman. And I personally would never do what is being done to me. I would never do that to another black woman. I don't move like that. I don't move like that. So anyway, for those of you that are just tuning in, I am sitting here editing my 5th book on dark skin. It is called Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story. And I am reading a chapter called Shut Up About Dark Skin. So continue right along, y'all. It was a hot day and I had just walked to the store for a particular family member. As I walked back to our house from the store and through the alley, I saw 3 black girls around the age of 10 playing in the backyard of the family member's yard. One of the girls, I might have to re-edit that because that's kind of a little bit too wordy, a little jibber jabber. I don't want to be jibber jabbering. Good morning, Roy. Anyway, what was I? One of the girls was super dark skinned. She said to the other girls as they played, "I got Indian in my family." When I heard her say this, I began listening closely to the conversation they were having. I realized that the other girls were picking on her for being too dark skinned. Her way of defending her dark skin was to tell them that she had Indian in her family. I went into the house and began telling this family about what I had heard and began telling this family member. Y'all remember that I'm editing. So I might see something misspelled or something that's grammatically incorrect and add in whatever needs to be added in. So the family member chastised me. "There you go again, Rashida, talking about that dark skin stuff," is what she said to me. We began debating. The debate turned into an argument. The dark skin argument got me kicked out. I was sad and hurt. I went home thinking about nothing but dark skin. I didn't know at the time that I would soon invent a new paradigm called dark skin activism, where I could talk about dark skin all I wanted to. I have realized that it takes time for people to get it, to come around. Recently, I saw this same person at a family get-together. She asked what I had been up to. I told her that I had a show booked in Fort Worth, Texas, one in Tucson, Arizona, for my play, A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. She said, "Rashida, you've been at this for a long time." She recalled the speech I had gave on dark skin that she had attended at St. Petersburg College back in 1998. We began talking about how far the dark skin movement that I had created had come. I told her all about the books I had written on dark skin, including Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet, A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge, and It's Not My Dark Skin, I'm Just Ugly. She wanted her copies, and let me just stop right there. By the way, guys, I'm just throwing out all this stuff right here. But my sixth book, I already wrote this book. I actually wrote this book in one day because I was so pissed. I told y'all, when I get mad, I work. I'm very productive. I don't know why that is, but when I'm upset, I get a lot of work done. Anyway, people on the internet kept saying, "It ain't your dark skin, you just ugly." That's what O'Shea said to me. So I went and I just sat down and I just started writing about all the reasons why it is my dark skin. And so I wrote this book last year and I'm going to put this book out. So what I'm going to do is and all of this stuff is copywritten. That's why, people that's copying me on the internet, they're so ignorant. Because really and truly, if I wanted to go ahead and spearhead a lawsuit, I could. I have my copyrights with the United States Copyright Office. I have all the work. I have the receipts. Simple as that. But anyway, I wanted to kind of like diverge a little bit and talk to you guys about this particular book. It's Not My Dark Skin, I'm Just Ugly, because that's actually my 6th book on dark skin. I told y'all I've written more books on anyone in the world on dark skin. And as soon as I'm done with editing and publishing Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story, I'm going to go ahead and edit It's Not My Dark Skin, I'm Just Ugly. Because in that book, I'm proving to y'all. I told y'all I only deal with facts. Don't bring me the fluff. Bring me the facts. I'm proving that it is my dark skin. So I want y'all I'm so excited for that. And then I got another book. I ain't gonna tell y'all the title of that one because I have not copywritten that one yet. But I'm so excited about my seventh dark skin book. I wrote the outline. We're going to talk about process. One of the things that I do, some people ask me about what my process is when I write books. Another one of the things that I do when I have a book idea, and I'm telling you, they pop up in my head like constantly. I'm the dark skin queen. That's just what it is. I'm the guru on dark skin. That's just what it is. No one can ever dispute that. And if people were intelligent and smart, they would partner up with me, because no one's going to beat me or do more than me on dark skin. It's not going to happen because it's in me to do. I created the lane. So with that being said, I have these ideas for books popping up in my head all the time. I was going to put it out on YouTube, but because people are plagiarizing me and not being honest about being inspired by my work, I'm not going to put this on YouTube. I decided to turn it into a book, and y'all are going to fucking absolutely love it. I cannot wait. So I got all this work. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. I'm sitting up here editing 192 pages here. I'm only on page 42, and I've got a lot of pictures to add. So I got a lot of work to do to complete this book, Inventing Dark Skin Activism. And I like to get one project done. Thank you, Roy. No problem. I one of the things I like to do, I like to get one project done and then move on to the next. I don't want to be working on like multiple, especially when it comes down to writing books. Like I can't do that. Some people can. They can write. They can go from one book to the other. I need to finish one book at a time. So, I'm going to finish Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story. And then I'm going to go ahead and edit It's Not My Dark Skin, I'm Just Ugly, because that book is I actually wrote that book in one day. One day. While I was at work, I was so angry. I'm just sitting there, just typing, and it just came out. Everything just flowed. I was like, well, so all I have to do is edit that book. But I had to kind of tell you guys about that because I've just read over it and mentioned it in Inventing Dark Skin Activism. So let me continue on, guys. So I told her all about the books I had written on dark skin. Darkism, 25 Ways Dark Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, How to Be the Hottest Dark Skinned Chick on the Planet, and a Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, and It's Not My Dark Skin, I'm Just Ugly. She wanted her copies. I gave her an autographed copy of How to Be the Hottest Dark Skinned Chick on the Planet. Let me go ahead and italicize that. Some of this stuff that I'll see, like when you include a book title in your book, you should italicize it. So these little grammatical things, when I'm reading through here, if y'all don't mind, I just correct it while I'm at it. But anyway, so I gave her two copies. That should be 2 copies, not 2. I gave her 2 copies. She later told me that someone had come to her house and wanted a copy, which she gave them. I could truly say she seemed proud of me. She was coming around. And by the way, y'all, this is one of my near and dear family members. I'm not going to mention her name. Out of respect for her, I am not going to mention her name. All right, so that's the chapter called Shut Up About Dark Skin. The next chapter is called Community Activism. And I'm going to have to, y'all, one of the things that I do, because I am a perfectionist, I just am. It is what it is. I read my books a million times before I release them, because I'm always like, oh my God, did I get this right? Or is a period where it's supposed to be? All these little grammatical errors and things like that is very important when you are writing a book. And nothing I would tell you to do, have other people read it. Get somebody that from different fields, so that you could get like varying viewpoints, and then you can get a well-rounded view of what people think about your work, and be open to criticism. That is very, very important. When you're writing a book, or when you're doing anything artistic, I think that you should, I know artists are sensitive people, because I'm sensitive about everything I do, my plays, my books, all of that. But at the same time, criticism will help you grow. Criticism. When I first started doing A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, when I started performing it, I remember I did a show in 2010 at the Royal Theater in remember, I throw the dates in there, because the copycats, they don't have the history that I have. They sitting back plagiarizing my work on the internet, but they don't have the history of actually doing the work of dark skin activism. And one of the things that I've done continuously throughout the years is perform my play, A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. See, you can't do what I do. You have to be yourself. Don't try to be like nobody else. Do what you do. That's very important. That's putting you on the path to self-actualization when you do you. Not when you do other people, because you think, oh my God, da 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 da, because you can never be me. The copycats you can never go back and invent something. It's already done. All right. 2010, and y'all can go and watch the interview. That's also on my YouTube channel. Oh my God, I'm thinking of all this stuff. Let me go, and I am going to go and pull up that interview that I did with the sister on there. Shout out to her. She did a great job. Questions of a lifetime. Boom. What I'm going to do, sorry about that, y'all. I'm going to put the link here. Y'all can go watch the interview I did with the sister back in 2010. Questions of a lifetime. Check that out. See, these things are receipts that I could prove that I invented this whole lane. I've been doing this before anybody even thought about talking about it on the internet. So it's like, why are people dumb enough to plagiarize my work? Well, I guess they underestimated me. They didn't think, which was stupid, if they would have taken the time to research my history. It was dumb of them. You should never underestimate anybody. But they didn't realize that I was going to start writing all these books and writing all these histories and tracking shit and documenting shit. That's exactly what I'm doing now. So this interview from 2010 is another documentation that shows that I have been doing the work of dark skin issues and activism well before anybody thought about talking about it on the internet. Proof. Just more proof. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, getting back to, hold on one second. Let's scroll on down. All right, community activism. I had to talk about my community activism in St. Petersburg because it is a big part of the development of my worldview in regards to creating dark skin activism. And with that being said, first, I got to take a sip of my nasty beet juice. I don't like it, but the health benefits is off the charts, y'all. So let me drink some of my beet juice. I don't like this stuff. And that 2010 interview is when I was actually teaching at St. Petersburg College back then. I was an adjunct instructor there teaching American national government. So again, like, understand why. Y'all got to understand, if you're really a fan of somebody, a follower, or whatever you want to call it, of somebody, you have to understand the person. Make an attempt to understand why it is this person is saying what they're saying. And the way you do that is by looking into a person's background. And I'm making it easy for people to understand why I'm saying I created dark skin issues. I created a lane for people to speak about. That's why I'm writing this book, so that I can make it plain and clear that this is not something that that's just coming out of the top of my head. No, I'm putting my time, my energy, my brain work, my writing skills, my money, my spirit, everything into this. And people need to acknowledge it and be honest about it. And I'm basically moving the train along with the acknowledgement by writing this book. Because one thing about books, when I'm dead and gone, these books is going to be here. Trust and believe, they're going to be here. They ain't going nowhere. They're going to be here. When I am dead and I am gone, they're going to be here, alive and well, to continue on the legacy of what I've created. Sit that right there. All right. So this chapter is entitled Community Activism. Many have criticized me for my dark skin activism. Their main argument is that I should be an activist for all Black people. Here's what they don't know. From 1998 to 2005, I was a member of the Uhuru movement. During that time, I worked a great deal for the Black community. One example among many is the fact that I developed the free Malcolm X tutoring program. In this program, we helped turn student achievement around. One student that I personally worked with was able to pass a standardized test, which finally allowed him to move on to the next grade level. By the way, this child was light-skinned. I emphasize the child's skin tone because I have been wrongfully accused of disliking light-skinned people. This is an accusation that I find horrendous. In fact, I worked with children and people of all skin tones in the Black community as a community activist. Hold on, y'all. Y'all, I hate to sound, because some people have accused me of being narcissistic. I hate to sound narcissistic here, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm loving this. I'm loving reading my own work. And you know what? I'm very, very critical of myself, but I'm enjoying reading my own damn work. I really am. Anyway, I did all kinds of work while a member of the Uhuru movement. I did door-to-door campaigns to stop things like police brutality, housing discrimination, and racism against Black people in the community. I need to break this paragraph up here. Oh my God, this is too long. Let me see where I can break this up. I'll break it up right here. I did all kinds of work while a member of the Uhuru movement. I did door-to-door campaigns to stop things like police brutality, housing discrimination, and racism against Black people in the community. Once again, for those of you that are just tuning in, I am reading and editing my new book, Inventing Dark Skin Activism. And I'm trying to get it out as soon as possible. I'm editing it right now. And I'm just kind of sharing the editing process with you guys, what I do, and coming on live and just being straightforward with it. This is what I'm doing. This is how you edit. Anyway, I was also a part of a task force that monitored discrimination going on in the Black community. I would actually make house calls to investigate discrimination issues and then contact the appropriate entity to address it. I was also able to obtain pro bono services of a lawyer friend of mine to represent victims of all forms of discrimination. I have participated in more protests than I can count. The list goes on and on. In fact, for a more detailed list of my community activism, please take time to review the resume of a dark-skinned activist in the next page, on the next page. So I actually put my resume in terms of what I've done as a dark-skinned activist / community activist in St. Petersburg. I actually have it in here. Again, receipts, documentation. So, I'm the original world's first dark-skinned activist. I created the dark-skin lane. Black people are not being decent and giving me my credit. So I'm writing this book, letting the whole world know this is, and even for any color, doesn't matter, because what's going to happen with this book is it's going to transcend just with Black people. Anybody is going to be able to read this book and say, okay, anybody can be a student of dark-skinned activism. That's why I'm writing this book. So sometimes Black people don't respect the gems that they have in the community, but make no mistake about it, this book is going to transcend in terms of people all over the world reading it. Right now, people all over the world, I've had dark-skinned Asians contact me, dark-skinned Indians contact me. I've had people all over the damn world that have read my books. So Black people, y'all need to wake up. I started this as a dark-skinned Black woman, but I have been so disrespected on the internet, and that's hurt me the most. I actually wrote about this in this book. I've been so disrespected by Black women who will sit back. They know that they have studied my videos, and they're plagiarizing my work. It's just really sickening to me. But I'm trying not to focus on that too much, because I've already developed the solution to that problem, which is this great work that is going to detail the history. And I would challenge, here's my challenge to the plagiarists. Here's my challenge. I would challenge them to write a history to refute or counter this book, Inventing Dark-Skinned Activism. Because if someone was to do that, I'm not talking about a YouTube video. Because to me, that making YouTube videos does not constitute a true intellectual, scholarly, in-depth study or research into a historical development. YouTube is a supplement. So the thing is, the challenge here, and I would actually love to see someone write a book to refute this book, Inventing Dark Skin Activism. Refute it. Make sure you bring facts, because I am a detail-oriented person, and I'm the type of person that scrutinizes stuff. So for the plagiarists that are on YouTube, and I hope y'all watching this, for the people that are copying my work, what I invite you to do is sit down and write a book to refute the facts contained in the book that I'm currently writing, Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story. Write a book, write a counter book to this book. I'll wait. Continue right along. Where was I? The list goes on and on. In fact, a more detailed list of my community activism. For a more detailed list of my community activism, please take time to review the resume of a dark-skinned activist on the next page. On the next page. All right. Correct that right now. In fact, for a more detailed list of mine, I wouldn't say for a more I was just going to say for a detailed list. These are some of the things that you do. When you write something, you just read it over and over again, and you just look for sentence structure, making sure you're conveying what you want to convey through the written word. So that's what I'm doing. Y'all just catching it live. You know what I'm saying? In fact, for a detailed list of my community activism, please take time to review the resume of a dark-skinned activist on the next page. The bottom line is that people need to understand that I have been and still am an activist for all Black people. Okay? So the next page, it's called A Resume of a Dark-Skinned Activist, and you guys could go along and read that. Actually, what I'll do is read off some of the bullet points on the resume. It says, this list by no means exhausts Rashida's contributions. However, it reflects a lifetime of the actual work of activism and dark-skinned activism. So, all right. So, however, it reflects a lifetime of the actual work of activism in general and dark-skinned activism in particular. That is very important, because we move from general to specific. So generally speaking, I might even just write that in there, but I don't want to make that part too long. Explain. You go from general to specific. Clearly, the evidence in this book in terms of my work as a community activist and my work as a dark-skinned activist, clearly it shows. It shows I went from the general activist, community activist, to the dark-skinned activist. Okay? My work is a clear reflection of that. My work is clear proof of that. My work is clear evidence of that. So some of the bullet points: community activist and father Samuel X introduced Rashida to activism at age 10. I studied under my father, Samuel X. By the way, my father was in the Nation of Islam. He was a community activist. And from the time, just to give you guys a little bit of backstory on that, and you can go check out my life story, A Dark-Skinned Girl's Triumph, the Rashida Strober story, where I talk about my father and his impact on me. He would have me study Elijah Muhammad, tapes. At that time, it was tapes. So he had a tape recorder and a bunch of tapes from the Nation of Islam. When I went to his house, it wasn't no watching TV. We didn't do that. To this day, I don't watch TV. I mean, someone gave me a TV, which I really didn't want, but she was moving, and she gave it to me. It's sitting upstairs, and I don't even use it because I don't care about TV like that. I like to read and analyze and listen to intellectually stimulating things. I know some of y'all done seen some of my videos, and y'all be like, that girl, she's so ignorant. People done said that about me. But again, you have to delve deep into a person. Take the time to delve deep into a person's background, and then you begin to understand. But I'm helping y'all. I've helped y'all alone by writing these books, by producing my play, by producing the audiobook. So there's the information. If you're really interested, I'm leaving y'all like everything, like the blueprint. Anyway, so I would go to my father's house and I began studying the philosophy and opinions on people in the Nation of Islam. I began studying, those things under my father's tutelage. So continue right along. Became the world's first dark skin activist in 1998. And by the way, for those of you that are just tuning in, I am reading from my book. I'm editing my book and reading it out loud. Y'all catching the editing live. My new book entitled Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober Story. Okay. Right now, I'm on a section called Resume of the Dark Skin Activist, which is in my book. And I'm just kind of reading through the bullet points because I put the bullet points there for people to just catch a quick glimpse. Anyway, I was the featured story watched by millions on Bay News 9. I was on the cover of the Floridian magazine. What else? Wrote graduate thesis on structural adjustment policies in Africa, contributing to the research and public policy literature. Obtained a master's degree in political science from the University of South Florida. What else? I'm just going to go through some of these because it's a very long list. Joined the Uhuru movement in 1999, studying under Chairman Omali Ashatella. I got to add that in. By the way, shout out to the chairman because the chairman had an indelible impact on me becoming a vegan. I remember on Sundays, chairman, what in the world? Okay, I put that in the wrong place. Preparation. I hate when that happens. That's the thing I hate about Microsoft. Sometimes you'll be typing and you'll type something in the wrong place. So I got to add chairman in there. So I joined the Uhuru movement and I studied under Chairman Omali Ashatella. And I remember when we'd have our Sunday meetings, this man was like in his 50s, 60s. He looked so young and so vibrant, and he would encourage us to do the same, to take care of ourselves. And he always encouraged a vegetarian, plant-based diet. I never forget that. And I saw him like 2 months ago in Walmart, and this man is probably in his 70s. I mean, muscles, toned, skin glowing, looks great. I've seen him run around St. Petersburg. So he is one of the people, when I joined the Uhuru movement, that really, really helped me to understand why a vegetarian lifestyle is important. And then, of course, I just learned more about it, learning about veganism, learning about raw foods. There's even people that they call themselves breatharians. I hope I'm pronouncing their name right. They claim to live off of air, just breathing. So there's levels to it. But what I can say is the foundation was in the Uhuru movement. He helped me to understand. Even my father, because my father in Nation of Islam, he wasn't a vegetarian, but they didn't eat pork. So anyway, moving right along, I provide free tax prep services. I have a small tax prep business, and I make it my business to do somebody's taxes for free. I help people all the damn time, okay? And it doesn't matter because I got white customers. I got all kinds of damn customers. Don't make me no damn difference. So what I'm doing in this book is I'm dispelling, while I'm giving the history of how I created and invented the dark skin lane for others to come along and talk about and follow, even though they're not giving me my credit. I'm also dispelling some myths for people that say, oh, you should be an activist for all people. Well, I have proof positive that I am. Proof positive. Right here. I got the receipts. I got the receipts on everything. And again, I challenge anybody on YouTube that thinks they can do it. Write a book to refute inventing dark skin activism. I challenge you to do it. In fact, I think that would push the paradigm along. I challenge you to read my book and then be ambitious enough, be courageous enough, step outside of your plagiarism and give me some facts. Refute inventing dark skin activism. I'll wait though. Continuing right along. The next chapter is entitled Assisting. Did I finish reading over that, y'all? Oh, that was just the resume. The next chapter is entitled Assisting Dark-Skinned People. Because I realized that dark-skinned people do not get treated fairly in many walks of life, I began to make special efforts to assist them. I'm giving y'all the history once again. This book is giving you the history. This book is giving everyone the history of how I invented dark skin activism. I'm stressing that point because I want us to clearly understand clarity is everything. Clarity is everything. This is not to say that I did not continue helping people of all colors, races, backgrounds, and hues. The fact of the matter is that I have been helping all races and colors of people my entire life, and I will never stop. I love helping people, period. I love to try to make things better for people, and I hate seeing anyone of any race or color suffer. When I was growing up my mother would conduct homeless, should I use conduct? Sometimes I kind of like mull over, am I using the right word to get across what I want to say? My mother would sponsor. When I was growing up, my mother would sponsor homeless food drives. She called local restaurants and got them to donate food. She would also get local businesses to donate items like clothing and other toiletries. She would then hold church meetings in Williams Park, a local park in St. Petersburg, where homeless people congregate. Let me put that in there, where homeless She would also share the word of God and give away food and other items to the homeless. Following her lead, I began quietly assisting dark-skinned people in need with whatever I could. This included food, shelter, clothing, money, toiletries, and other social service needs. This also included simply being a listening ear to sound off on. This was in the late 90s, y'all. This is in the late 90s. Okay? This is the history of me inventing dark skin activism. This goes out to a message to all the people that are plagiarizing. Y'all need to read this book. And then maybe you would stop plagiarizing my work because you would understand the history and the hardship and the sacrifice and the sincerity that has gone into the development of dark skin activism. Not just coming onto a fucking YouTube and making videos. That's the problem. Like I said before, social media is a good and a bad thing. It is a breeding ground of information and knowledge, but it is also a breeding ground of people disrespecting people's intellectual property and hard work. And again, that is why I'm hell-bent on getting this book out. It's called Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story. And once again, I challenge anyone to write a book to counter the arguments, to counter the facts, to counter the documentation that I am writing in this book. Counter it. And then maybe I can call you the queen of dark skin, because I'm fair. You see, I call myself the queen of dark skin, not because I'm arrogant. That's not it. I believe you got to put in work. You got to earn it. I don't respect people who don't put in work. I don't respect people who don't earn. I don't respect people that are unoriginal. I respect the innovators, the hard workers, because they've done the actual work. I saw a homeless dark-skinned person on the street. If I saw a homeless dark-skinned person on the street, I would give them extra money because I knew deep down that dark-skinned people don't get sympathy like other hues of people. At one time, I opened my home to a dark-skinned person that was in need of shelter. At the time, I was unaware that I was developing dark skin activism in this way. Thank you, George. What I'm going to say to answer your question is just to go look on YouTube. Go look on YouTube. Go look on YouTube. If you go back to, I took all my videos down. But in 2014, I started putting a bunch of videos on YouTube only on dark skin that was based off of my books that I've written. And then now after 2014, you start seeing a whole bunch of people talking about dark skin in a very similar fashion as I. And I know that they've sat back and studied my videos. But the problem is it's not talking about dark skin. It's about being honest. It's about saying, I got this idea or concept from Rashida Strober. I watched her video. And these black women are not honest because I'm calling them out. They're black women. And some of them I've seen some non-black people doing this. They weren't even thinking about no dark skin. The Kendrick Lamar thing is the thing that made the dark skin activists internet famous, if you will. But prior to that, Kendrick Lamar went down, and I'm explaining all of this in the book. Kendrick Lamar went down in 2015, which made it viral, my dark skin activism viral and well known. But if you go back to 2014, go watch the Tommy Sotomayor interview. And what did I say in there? Dark skin activist. I clearly said that, 2014. Now, if you go back to 2014, you can look at the dates of people's videos. This is how you can find this information out. You don't believe me? Go do your research. But most people are not going to do that. That's why I'm writing this book, to make it plain. I believe information should come in all forms. The written form, which is king. Now we got the video form, which is why I'm on here doing this live stream with you guys. All you have to do is go look at the receipts. Go look at the dates of when these women are making these videos. And it's after, I guarantee you, it is after 2014. It's after 2015. Whether they admit it, or if you see now in 2017, people are tagging me in all kinds of posts about dark skin, which is very similar to my work and my impact. All I'm saying is acknowledge, respect it. They're not doing that, which is why I have to write this book. So what I will say to you, just go look on the internet. Go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and you'll see. Simple as that. Continuing right along, for those of you that are tuning in, I am giving you my live editing process for my new book that I am currently writing. And I'm sitting right here in front of my lovely laptop. Y'all can see this is my manuscript. I have my manuscript right here. The book is called Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story. I have it on my computer, which is on a Word document. And I'm just simply sitting here editing the book. I have already written it. It is currently at 192 pages. It's probably going to be longer than that because I do have pictures to add. Again, I'm a factual person. I'm hell-bent on proving with evidence to the whole world how dark skin activism got started, how Rashida Strober made dark skin an issue. So one of the main ways that I'm going to accomplish this is through the writing of the book and the publishing and distribution of the book, Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story. So I'm sitting here literally live with you guys, showing you the process of how I'm editing this book. Now, I'm the author of 4 books on dark skin. This is my 5th book. I have more books than that in the works, but I'm not going to really talk about those yet because I'm going to finish this project first and then move on to the next. But you guys are catching what I do. And it's very simple. I just sit here. Sometimes I have coffee. Today I have, what time is it? Got to keep the rest of the time because later on I got to go pick up Lauren, and she got to go to Kumon today. And I got to have a little conference with a teacher, just to digress a little bit, because as some of you know, I am going through a divorce and there's split custody there. And she goes to a fundamental school. And if you do not have the homework done on time in a certain way, then basically you could get put out of the school. There's certain rules and regulations you must follow if you go to a fundamental school. And because I'm living in different households, she's spending time with her dad and me. There's some little issues there that's going on. And during the first week of school, I want to nip them in the bud and get it right because, that's the type of person I am. So I got to go this afternoon and have a little small conference with the teacher and let her know some of the things that's going on so we can troubleshoot and make sure this homework gets turned in on time the way that her teacher wants it, and we won't have no problems. So I got to go do that later on. Then Lauren is, of course, she goes to Kumon every Friday. And what else? I'm going to probably this evening, I'm going to be retightening her sister locks. And I was thinking about doing my own hair, y'all. I want to wash my hair and comb it out and all this kind of stuff. But I'm going to do because I do Lauren's hair in sections. And I try not to let it get to where the root becomes so thick to where it's going to take me a long time to retighten the root. So it's at a point where it's not like all thick and stuck together. And I do it in sections. So I did one little section last night, and then I'm going to do probably one little section today, so she's not sitting for a long period of time and getting all antsy. So that's what I'm going to do for this afternoon. And yesterday she was so happy. We baked she wanted to bake a cake. She made her little cake, and Lauren, I'm going to film Lauren baking the cake, y'all. This girl is just, oh my God, Lauren is a superstar. Let me just say that. My daughter Lauren is the dark skinned activist baby. I see it in her. And the minute she tells me she wants to do X, Y, and Z, we're going to be on it because I can see it. She's just a wonderful, talented, naturally talented little human being with so much potential. And I'm the type of person, if a person got potential and they ready to put in the work, I'm ready to help. So I see that in my daughter, and I'm so proud of her. And I just think she's so wonderful. And so, yeah, that's what I got planned coming on. Raydell, yes, he has. Yes, he has. Yes, thank God. Thank God for that, because y'all, I was about to have, y'all know I'm about to have fit. I had went to court, and my attorney, I went and filed a motion for what they call for him to stop cutting her hair, and the judge actually ordered it. And my attorney, she laughed because she was like, my attorney, by the way, let me just throw that out there, who, by the way, is light-skinned. Yeah. My attorney, my divorce attorney, is light-skinned. For those of y'all be like, oh, you know, she's a damn good attorney, and I like her a lot. So you guys need to just stop. Just stop. Anyway, so she laughed when she saw that the judge actually ordered, put in an order after I had filed a motion with the courts. The judge actually agreed with me and put in an order for him to stop cutting her hair. So yeah, I'm just happy when Lauren happy. When she happy and looks in the mirror and see her beauty, that makes me happy. If she ain't happy, I ain't damn happy. So I want her to be happy, because I grew up unhappy as a dark-skinned child. I did not have a good childhood. I'm not trying to have that happen to my daughter, which is why y'all need to go watch my new interview with O'Shea Duke Jackson, where I'm talking about the new documentary that I'm doing with my daughter. It's called A Dark-Skinned Girl's First Day of School, where I'm documenting her experience. Because as a lot of y'all know, I'm the original in terms of telling my story about being bullied for dark skin. I did that already in a Dark-Skinned Girls Triumph. And I do see people that are coming out now with similar stories. But if you were inspired by my story, it's okay to say it. It's okay to say I was inspired. I listened to her stuff on the internet and I was inspired, da, 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 da. But this is the problem. This is what Black women are not doing. This is the problem. So that's why I be saying, you know, y'all tagging me in this stuff. This is basically another version of my work. Simple as that. I'm not surprised. The problem is acknowledgement. And as Black people, what we'll do, we'll see somebody else doing something and we won't be honest and courageous enough, because I think it takes courage. I think you have to have confidence in yourself to say to another person, hey, I was inspired by you, like I did with Cola Booth. I told Cola straight up, sent her a message straight up. I said, Cola, you are my hero. Basically, I was inspired by your work. You created the dark skin lane. I let her know that because I'm confident in myself. I don't have to go and look at somebody else's stuff and then go behind and act like I don't see them. I don't work like that. If you're doing a great job or if you're wonderful, I got no problem telling you, because that is what inspires me. Wonderful people that copy and pretend and lie and rip off other people's work. I'm not impressed. So sometimes when y'all are sending me this stuff, I'm looking like, okay. It's nothing new. It's, you know, I'm not inspired. I'm not impressed at all, because what they're doing, it's already been done. I'm already doing it. And it's about acknowledging people's work. It's very important. You shouldn't plagiarize other people's work. Let me take a little sippy sip. This is beet juice, by the way, which I hate. But again, I love the health benefits of beet juice. So let me sippy sip. Terrible tasting. And I want to say thank you, Raydell, for supporting me. I want to say thank you to my brother George Blanche for supporting me. I see you. Thank you. I was on your show. You have a wonderful show. You guys, please go friend request George Blanche. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome person. I had the pleasure of being on his show probably about, I think it was 2-3 years ago now. And we had a wonderful show. So please go support that brother. He does some really, really great work, and I love it. I love it. I'm trying to down that stuff. My goal is to get it down before I leave here. Because I got to go in a little bit. I got to get dressed and stuff. And get all cutesy wootsy and stuff. Yeah, because I'm in, when I'm around the house, I'm just kind of like in my little bump around clothes. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know we don't walk around all dressed up in the house. I ain't got time for that. I have more important stuff to do, like write my books and get my play. Oh God, y'all. I'm sorry I'm not urging, but I'm so excited because I'm adding to one of my characters, Georgiana. Oh God. I am adding to her. I'm going to be filming that either tomorrow or next Saturday. I'm thinking it might have to be next Saturday, but because people love Georgiana. They love Georgiana. They love all my characters. But for some reason, like I was like, I couldn't believe people really take a liking to Georgiana. So I was like, okay, I gotta amp Georgiana up. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be oh, thank you, George Blanche. Make sure you guys, the radio, it's a blog talk radio. It's called Black Jesus Radio. Black Jesus Radio. And I have been a guest on there and I have listened in on there. And I'm telling you, this brother is doing some powerful things. Very, very powerful. So please support. We gotta start supporting and acknowledging each other. That is so important in the Black community. How in the world are we gonna get it? It's like I said, it's okay to say that another person's work is great. It's okay. It's okay. I don't see why we in the Black community got problems with doing that. And then other people will come along and acknowledge it, and then we get mad. Well, you're not seeing the value in it. I see the value in my Blackness. I see the value in other brilliant Black people. But one thing I will say is I'm the type of person that respects innovation and hard work. If you ain't an innovator, meaning original, and that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna tell y'all who one of my favorite artists is. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, and I've seen a lot of people come along. Let me tell you something. Lauryn Hill can never be fucking duplicated. There's never gonna be another Lauryn Hill. There should be a Lauryn Hill day as far as I'm concerned. She is fucking original. She's the original. Simple as that. Simple as that. And I see a lot of Black women go around, jack her swag, and not say, oh, I named my daughter after Lauryn Hill. I named Lauryn after Lauryn because Lauryn Hill is fucking brilliant. The thing is, we as Black people need to pay homage and not be afraid to say another Black person is great. Let me tell you something, whether you agree or not, Oprah Winfrey is fucking brilliant. Yeah, there's never going to be another Oprah. Never. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Let me tell you something. Michelle Obama is one of the most brilliant, classy, intelligent Black women that I've ever seen in my life. There's just something about her sincerity, her honesty, she's being herself. You understand? So what I'm saying is, we as Black people should not be afraid to acknowledge another Black person. See, that's what's going on with me. It's going to take time. Somebody said, years from now, Rashida, dark skin activism is going to be studied in schools. But I'm proactive. So I'm writing my own story, my history. I'm telling y'all straight up, this is what it is. I'm giving you the blueprint. One of the main problems in our community is we don't want to acknowledge brilliance in our community. We want to hate and be jealous and whatever. Well, you're not going to get that from me. But I'm also going to call you out on your bullshit. I'm going to call you out. That's one thing I don't got a problem calling people out. We need to acknowledge the greats. Madam C.J. Walker she created the blueprint. These people need to be, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing is, in my humble opinion, the most brilliant academic female scholar ever. That's it. That's it. I'm not even going to debate nobody on that. I'm not going to do it. Out of respect for her, I won't even debate. That's just what it is. Simple as that. Dr. Betty Shabazz, respect. Love her to death. What we got to do is start acknowledging it, because we're setting a bad precedence for the younger generation, because these young black girls is going to come out and want to come out and innovate too. That's why I said it's important to just be yourself. When I'm doing dark skin activism, it's organic. I'm being me. I'm being Rashida. I'm doing me. I'm doing what God gave me to do. So what we need to encourage is not copycats. We need to encourage innovation. We need to encourage people, because that's how we grow. You don't grow by doing what's already been done. You grow by being your authentic self. It's very important. And I see that within the black community, that is not what we're doing with each other. We are not acknowledging the greats. And I know I'm great. I know I am. I don't even need people to tell me that, really and truly. I already know it. I already know that dark skin activism and calling myself the dark skin activist was innovative. I knew that, because I had watched enough brilliant black innovators to know, okay, this is what you do. You create your own lane. It ain't there, you create it. Because that's what these trailblazers did. That's what Madam C.J. Walker did. That's what Michelle Obama did. She was just black, brilliant, and fucking beautiful. The first lady ever. That ain't gonna never be done again. Respect to Michelle Obama. Always. And by the way, when I read her thesis, her Princeton thesis, I had even more respect. Read it way back in, I think it was like 2007. This woman is an amazing human being. She's sincere. There'll never be another Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige is full of rawness and realism that I ain't never seen nobody have. It'll never be. If we see some copycat, there's never gonna be another Mary J. Blige, ever. Respect. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so when I was growing up, my mother would sponsor homeless food drives. She called local restaurants and got them to donate food. She would also get local businesses to donate items like clothing and other toiletries. She would then hold church meetings in Williams Park, a local park in St. Petersburg where homeless people congregate. She would share the word of God and give away food and other items to the homeless. Following her lead, I began quietly assisting dark-skinned people in need with whatever I could. This included food, shelter, clothing, money, toiletries, and other social service needs. This also included simply being a listening ear to sound off on. If I saw a homeless dark-skinned person on the street, I would give them extra money because, let me see if I need to break that paragraph. No, I don't. If I saw a homeless dark-skinned person on the street, I would give them extra money because I knew deep down that dark-skinned people don't get sympathy like other hues of people. At one time, I opened my home to a dark-skinned person that was in need of shelter. At the time, I was unaware that I was developing dark-skin activism. All I knew is that I had to do what was in my heart. The next chapter is entitled USF, and maybe I need to, USF stands for University of South Florida. So I went to the University of South Florida. But anyway, the next chapter is called USF Master's Thesis on the Dark-Skinned People of Sierra Leone. I received a bachelor's degree in history from the University of South Florida in 2001. At that time, I studied as many aspects of human history as possible, such as African, European, Asian, and Indian. I studied history due to my burning desire to understand how human beings ended up in the condition of hating each other based upon skin tone. I specifically wanted to understand why people hated dark-skinned people so much. I also wanted to understand why dark-skinned people were the most impoverished worldwide. Let me take a sip of my nasty beet juice. Y'all, I'm trying to get this down. It does not taste good. I put some lemon or some lime in there, and it don't taste good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna eat much fence to lie. It don't taste good. But I'm trying to get it down because I got to leave out of here in a little bit. And you know how it is when you start drinking a lot of liquids. You have to go to the bathroom. And so you have to pee, get all out. So I'm trying to get it all down right now. Ugh. All right. Sorry, y'all. So during my years as an undergraduate student studying history, I was the only black woman in my courses, and of course, I was dark skinned. I felt alone. I felt isolated. There was no dark skinned activists for me to talk to. There was no dark skinned activists for me to go online and watch their videos and get inspiration. I had to be my own dark skinned inspiration. However, there was one person who I shall never forget. He was the lone black man in our Latin American history class. He was light skinned, wore a big afro, and stylish glasses. Yeah, I'll never forget this dude, y'all. I will never forget. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let me keep reading. He always dressed neatly and carried himself in a respectful manner. He sensed my loneliness and tried to make me feel better. I noticed how he would stare at me as I argued with my white classmates about how Europeans have caused the most destruction in the world. Y'all, when I was at USF, oh my goodness, I used to there was this one white guy, me and him argued all the time. And the Latin American history professor, Mr. Stavros, he was such a nice guy. And he would tell me, Rashida, I want you to just calm down. And I know that you're reading about this injustice, but you're going to be able to do something about it. And I might even have to write about him. He passed away. May he rest in peace. But that man will always encourage me that there was hope, that I could do something about it. And now that I think about it, he was, I'm actually doing what he said that I was going to do. I'm actually doing something about what I saw as darkism, in Latin America. Because when you're a history major, you take all kinds. Well, I know I did. I didn't concentrate on one brand of history. I wanted to get a world perspective, a world view. So I took all types of history. And I just noticed a pattern. I need to write this stuff in my book. Hold on one second. Hold on, y'all. What was I just saying? As a student of history, I noticed the pattern of dark-skinned people. Okay, so I just added a new section. I'm up here talking. That's why it's kind of good to just get on here and run my mouth because ideas start to flow. And so that's another thing I can encourage you guys to do is if you want to write a book, just start talking to people. Talk to one of your friends and maybe sit down and have them record it and then you go back and listen to it because the ideas are just going to flow. You understand? I know I'm not sitting up here talking to nobody, like having a conversation, but just like, as I'm talking to you out loud, it's like these ideas are coming to my head. So I just added a section here and I got to save it because I would be so doggone mad if I lost my work. Send the work to yourself. That's another thing I suggest. I highly recommend make sure you email it to yourself, because we never know what's going to happen, or put it in a cloud or something like that. We never know. Save it in multiple formats. Y'all see I got all these flash drives sitting up here. I got like flash drive, like, because I got backups, honey. That's why I said if I drop dead today or tomorrow, one of my family members, they will get all my work. I left instructions, and I'll make sure you motherfucking publish it, and you make sure the whole fucking world knows about it. I ain't even playing about it. I ain't even playing, because this is how important this is to me. That's right. That beet juice gives you so much energy and brain power as well. Be able to think clearly. That's why I recommend don't eat breakfast in the morning. Don't eat like solid foods. Have a smoothie or have juice. It is now 11 o'clock. I have not eaten any food. I'm not going to eat anything probably until about 5 or 6 o'clock. You're going to have more energy. You're going to notice how you're moving faster. Your brain going to work a little better. You'll have some liquids. You could do like a big smoothie. Bananas, I highly recommend bananas be the base, because bananas got that feel good thing in it that makes you feel happy, and because of the potassium, that's what it is. And then just down some water, and then drink lots of water, and then eat around, I don't know, in the evening. That's all you got to do. That's what I do. It makes me very, very, very productive. Anyway, continuing right along. So this is what I just added. As a student of history, I noticed the pattern of dark-skinned people around the world suffering the most. I grappled with this in many ways by searching for the answers as to why. That's the burning question. I had a professor, a history professor, and he would always say the burning question. This white man, never forget him, Dr. Carr. The burning question. He taught European history, and he loved to just sit up there and lecture on the vassals and the kings and the gentry, and he would lecture on all these different facets, the Black Death of European history, the Marxism, the peasants, all this stuff he would lecture on. But I could tell that this guy, he had that burning question, and I could relate to that, because my burning question, shout out to Dr. Carr, I'm not going to plagiarize him, that's where I got the concept of the burning question. Why is dark-skinned people the most impoverished worldwide? That was my burning fucking question. And I thank God to this day, I got another book that I'm writing. It's called Theory of Darkism. It answers that burning question. I answered it for myself because I was never going to stop searching. I wanted to understand. I remember I would ask professors. Sometimes I would be introverted, and I would, ask them in a way, because some of the professors, they come across strong. And I asked this one professor from Africa, I was trying to understand this. He couldn't answer it. And it just annoyed the fuck out of me. And I realized that's probably one of the reasons why I started dark skin activism. I got to put all this in the book now. See, talking to y'all, it's making me have more ideas, making me recall more things. So as a student of history, I noticed the pattern of dark skinned people around the world suffering the most. I grappled with this in many ways by searching for the answers as to why. I asked professors, community leaders, and read books, but no one was able to make the link between dark skin and impoverishment. I'm going to put, as an honor to him, because I told y'all about the plagiarizing, I'm going to throw that in there about Dr. Carr and him cementing the idea of the burning question in my mind, because that's important. That spearheaded dark skin activism because of the continuation of having that burning question and it not being answered. So let me type, I now realize that I'm going to call it the dark skin burning question, spearheaded the advent of dark skin activism. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Dr. Carr. I had a professor who taught European. He taught, I wonder if he's retired. I need to go down there and see. I was actually thinking about going back to school and getting a PhD in history. I have a master's degree in political science, and I had been kind of chit chatting with two of my major professors for my master's degree, and they were like, "Yeah, you should do it." Da, 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 da. So I don't know. I'll see what happens. I'm thinking about going back to the University of South Florida and pursuing a PhD in history because I just love it. And of course, my dissertation, I got all these books. I could turn them into dissertations if I wanted to easily. But I was thinking that my dissertation, I might save theory of darkism for my dissertation. I'm actually thinking about doing that. And I think, let me see, let me Google this. Last time I checked, I need to go ahead and submit my application. Um, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I gotta look on here and see. I think that, see the graduate program. I'm reading off right now. So the Department of History at the University of South Florida in Tampa offers two graduate degree programs. Students may enroll in an enriching program of study, coursework, and director research leading either to a Master of Arts or a PhD. Areas of specialization cover a number of fields, including colonial through modern U.S. In the world, the ancient world, medieval worlds, early modern worlds, modern history, and Latin America. Or faculty also supports concentrations in thematic fields of research, such as gender, race, and ethnicity. See, that's perfect. I might actually go do this. Our PhD programs features an innovative model of doctoral education designed to ensure broad interdisciplinary connections with the related fields of anthropology, English, geography, sociology, political science, and international relations. I might just do this, y'all. I don't know what y'all think. Because I got so much on my plate. I don't know. But I could easily do it. I could, I've got all these books I've written, and I could just turn theory of darkism into my dissertation. So we'll see what happens. The department, let me see. I need to look on here and see the PhD. How many credit hours? Oh my God, 72 credit hours? Interdisciplinary pro seminar. Analysis of historical knowledge, fields of study, seminar and comparative studies, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this looks like a lot of fun, y'all. This is right up my alley. Let me see. PhD requirements. Well, when does the school start? Let me see. I gotta see. What's her deadline? I might go to this, y'all. This on the 18th. What is this about? Oh, graduate studies. Um, what I'm trying to find here is their deadline. And I don't see it on here. But I'm going to find it. Sorry, y'all. I done diverged like I bet y'all like, what in the world? Oh my goodness. But this is what I do here. Like, this is what I be doing like all day. Or not all day when I'm, home working on my stuff. This is what I be doing, y'all. See, St. Pete USF has two campuses. St. Petersburg and um, Tampa. You're right, George. You're right. I taught American government at St. Pete College for about 2 years, and I kind of like was kind of had to be kind of convinced to teach that because I really was not interested in teaching American government. But yeah, it definitely is a very rewarding experience to teach. Uh, you know, it's very rewarding. But the thing is, you need to be teaching something that you want to teach. That's the key. That is the key. What I'm doing right now is I'm going through their graduate programs on their website. Sorry, I'm so quiet, y'all, but I'm just like reading over some of this information. I'm sorry. The main thing I'm trying to find is the application deadline. Boom, there it is. I was looking for that. So if I want to go wait a minute, application, domestic application, fall, January. Wait a minute, where's the deadline? I don't see the deadline. Major and minor field of study, 15 hours. Da, 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 da. This will be so much fun. Y'all have no idea how much I love school. I love scholarship. That just really, um, that's why I say that's what I really respect, to be honest. I have to be honest. I don't mean to sound elitist here at all because I'm not, but it's just something that I have a love of books. I have a love of research. I have a love of intelligence. And a person that is a learned person that has taken the time to go to school and sit down and studies something that takes time. And it's not even, I'm not even speaking necessarily of an educated person on a college level. I'm talking about a person that may have given themselves their own education. Because a professor did tell me one time there's two types of educations: the one you get in school and the one that you give to yourself. So I totally agree with that. I'm trying to find the deadline. Did I miss the deadline? There is an established university deadline for submission of admission application materials. Programs may have earlier deadlines than the university deadlines. The deadlines reflected are the earliest of the two deadlines. Graduate programs may continue to accept and process applications, blah, 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 blah. Hold on, let me see something, y'all. Let me see something. Let me go back to my other email, because I actually did contact the coordinator for the PhD program in St. Petersburg because I had a question. I contacted this person. I can't even remember when I contacted her, but I'm going to go back to my email, and I am going to find it. That's the good thing about email. Like, you can always go and pull up whatever you trying to find. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you can always go and pull up Julie Langford. That's her name. I knew I had there she go. Oh, this was back in March. Let me email this lady again. I'm gonna email her right now. That's kind of confusing. And this lady got back with me like super fast, which I like. If I did, apply, it would be for the spring of 2018. So I just sent her an email, and I'm pretty sure that lady is gonna get back with me really fast. All right, y'all. I kind of like did a divergence there, but y'all catching it live. Y'all know what I'm saying? This is live. Trying to finish up my beet juice. How long I've been on here? I've been on here for a long time. This is disgusting. Lord have mercy. Yeah, I may just go ahead and do that with the PhD program, and I already got my dissertation, but it has to be approved by a thesis committee. I've been through it with my master's degree. It could be a highly political process, but I know I could do it because I fought my way through it. I was like not fucking playing. I went through so much. Y'all have no idea. Talk about it in Darkism, 25 Ways Dark Skinned People Are Discriminated Against. But my dissertation would be Theory of Darkism. That's the book that I've already started writing, because people wanted to know, as well as I, again, going back to that burning question, where does all this come from? So the book Theory of Darkism, which I'm not on yet. I actually started the research for it, and I got the manuscript kind of fleshed out, because I like to flesh out what I'm going to talk about. It's all there. But as you can see, I'm still editing this book. But Theory of Darkism is something that I'm probably going to write or finish in next year. But I got a book cover. I got all that ready to go. But that's more of a research type book. That's really what that is. It's more of a research type book, where I'm actually implementing scholarly, peer-reviewed academic research. So Theory of Darkism is going to be a little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more work, because I don't really think it's work. It just requires more time to make sure I have everything in there in terms of academic sources that I want. So that's why I said Theory of Darkism could be my dissertation, because when you're writing a dissertation, you're going to have to research the researchers. You're going to have to do what's called a literature review, where you research the researchers. You find out all the people that have wrote in the field of study, all the people that have done research, all the people that have contributed. That's why I said these plagiarists are not intelligent people, because YouTube doesn't operate like that. YouTube doesn't say, oh, you got to cite the people whose videos that you've watched and stolen this content from. But they would never make it through, for example, a PhD or a master's degree program. That's not going to happen, let alone getting a bachelor's degree. Because whenever you're writing a paper, and again, I've taught at the college level, so I'm well versed in how research is to be done, especially how sources are to be cited. I'm well versed in those things because I taught it. So that's why when you guys hear me come on here talking about plagiarism, it's my academic background. You got to understand that. But YouTube and social media does not have that level of ethics in regards to plagiarism. It just doesn't. People are not ethical. People are unoriginal. But again, they would never. And that's one of the reasons why I say I respect scholars, because they have taken the time to do things in an ethical manner. They're honest. Most of them are honest. I haven't ran across a scholar who, you're not going to make it through a PhD program or a master's degree program. You won't make it through. Stuff has to be plagiarism free. Simple as that. But YouTube, I wish YouTube would come up with a system where they would make it plagiarism free, where people cannot just go and take people's videos or copy people's content, because it really does people that have actually put in work a real disservice. So for those of you that are just tuning in, because I know I've been on here for a long time talking, what I'm doing, y'all seeing me live and in person, edit my new book. It's called Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story, where I'm telling the true history of how I created and made dark skin an issue to the level that it's currently at right now. I created this lane and made it possible for it to be talked about on the internet. It's just that simple. So I'm laying out the history here, and as you can see, you guys see me look away. This is my computer. Y'all see it's ragged, but it works. I have my manuscript on the computer right now. There's 192 pages so far. In regards to my edits, I'm on page 48, but that's okay, because this book is epic, and it's for all students of dark skin activism. I'm writing this for you, for future students, for present students. I'm writing this for you so that you will understand in depth, because I'm presenting facts, I'm presenting documentation, I'm presenting pictures, all this evidence of how I made dark skin an issue and how it came onto the internet for everyone else to follow behind my blueprint. And again, I have to do this because there's a lot of people that are plagiarizing my work all over the place. People have tagged me in certain articles, YouTube videos, with people talking about dark skin activism, or but they're not acknowledging the source. And so I am writing this book, and again, I want to invite anyone, I don't care who it is, to write a book to refute after I put this book out, you read the book, write a book. If you take issue with me saying, oh, I invented dark skin activism, please write a book to refute me inventing dark skin activism and present facts and evidence. So I'm inviting anyone to write a book to refute this book. So continue right along. So I asked professors, community leaders, and read books, but no one was able to make the link between dark skin and impoverishment. I had a professor who taught European history. I'm going to put his name in here. His name is Dr. Carr. Dr. Carr, his influence on me, now that I'm writing about this, I'm realizing it was heavy. Dr. Carr also made a big deal, and y'all just heard me mention documents. Dr. Carr made a big deal about an examination of the documents, the historical documents. This was like the burning question and the documents were his two things. And obviously, I graduated in 2001 with a bachelor's degree. Years later, I'm still sitting up here talking about documents and the burning question. So that's why I just said I'm writing this book with documents, because when you're dealing with history and fact and understanding, it's really about the documents. It's about, because the documents, if they're real sources, they're not going to lie. They're going to tell the truth. That's why I'm writing this book, because I'm including documents, including newspaper articles, pictures, what people have said. It's all going to be in this book. All going to be in this book. So let me put this in here. So he said, let me just write that in there. He said, I had a professor who taught European history, Dr. Carr, who always spoke about the idea of the burning question. I definitely, and yeah, y'all, he was a white professor, but the thing is, you can fucking learn from anybody. You can learn from anybody. I'm a firm believer in that. I don't care who you are. I learn from anybody. That's how I am. It's all important to me, because that's how you get an understanding, by being willing to listen to varying points of view. That's very important. So let me see, what was I had a professor who taught European history, Dr. Carr, who always spoke about the idea of the burning question, and he talked about the burning question and how can I word this, and we called it the documents. And we talk about documents, we're talking about historical documentation of anything, because again, everything, it has a history. Everything has a history to it. So when we talk about the documents, you know what? It's copywritten. Darkism is actually copywritten. So I actually could, if I wanted to sue somebody for an intellectual property claim, I could do it because I have a United States copyright. I have the certificate right over there. I'm looking, I keep all my files over there. So it would be based on intellectual property copyright. So in that respect, Darkism is already, it's been copywritten. I copyright that. Everything I write, trust me, I copyright it. So it's just a matter of whether or not I want to bring a claim against copyright infringers or intellectual property infringers. So let's see, where was I? I had a professor who taught European history, Dr. Carr, who always spoke about the idea of the burning question and closely examining the documents. I mean, this man would never relent on speaking about the documents and the burning question. And that's where I got it from. I got it from him. Well, I naturally had it. But again, I don't want to be a plagiarist. I don't ever want to be somebody that lies and pretends that let me burning question. And closely examining. Let me take that italicized out. Uh, I don't want to. I wouldn't do that. Like I said, coming from an academic background, having to write a master's thesis and go through the process of having my committee members approve it, there's no way in hell I was going to get through the defense, because you have to defend your thesis and your dissertation in order to obtain a master's degree or a PhD. You have to defend it. Now, there's some universities where you don't have to do that, but honestly, I prefer to go to a university where I have to go through the process of defending it. And there's no way in hell that I would get up in front of 3 PhDs, because that's who you'll have on your committee, and speak on something where I haven't thoroughly researched the researchers and understood fully the topic in regards to what I was speaking about. So I've been through that process. So anyway, let me see. I had a professor who taught European history, Dr. Carr, who always spoke about the idea of the burning question and closely examining what he called the documents. Now, do you guys see? I have actually cited so many people. I'm going to put this recording on YouTube when I'm done, because the plagiarists, they watch me. So plagiarists, here's what I want you to learn from me. Plagiarize this. In the course of this book, I've cited so many people who have influenced my work. Dr. Carr, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Neely Fuller, he's in here, Cola Booth, my father, Samuel X, the late Samuel X, may he rest in peace. So what you do, the proper way to do it, you don't go around pretending ideas are yours, because they're not. What you do is you cite. So take that from me. Learn that. Now I'm in my teaching mode. You cite. It is the proper thing to do. It is the intellectual thing to do. It is the respectful thing to do. That shouldn't be question. That should be quest. Okay. Okay, what I was just doing was just Again, you guys are live with me in the editing process. And as you know, obviously, if you're editing something, you're not going to be sitting up here talking and running your mouth all the time. I was just thinking, writing that little piece right there, thinking how to word it. So here's what I said. And y'all can feel free to comment on it. This is not perfect. This is a work in progress. Anyway, so let me see. This is what I wrote. I had a professor who taught European history, Dr. Carr, who always spoke about the idea of the burning question and closely examining what he called the documents. His influence would weigh heavily on the way His influence would weigh heavily on my quest to understand why dark-skinned people remained on the bottom economically, socially, and politically worldwide. The dark-skin burning question spearheaded my development of dark-skin activism. And that's the truth. Because I developed the burning question, shout out to Dr. Carr, he was a white man. Shout out to him, because that's where, the conceptualization of my thought process can be framed as a burning question. You see what I'm saying? Hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Okay, I just added that because it made sense. I just added what I just said. That's why I was just typing, y'all. Okay. So let me read what I just wrote. The thought process. Well, let me start out with Dr. Carr. I had a professor who taught. I I don't know why I want to say American history. I had a professor who taught European history, Dr. Carr, who always spoke about the idea of the burning question and closely examining what he called the documents. His influence would weigh heavily on my quest to understand why dark-skinned people remain on the bottom economically, socially, and politically worldwide. The thought process of my conceptualization of dark-skinned issues was framed in the context of the burning question in regards to why dark-skinned people suffered so much, which spearheaded my development of dark-skinned activism. So, in other words, the burning question of why dark-skinned people are mistreated is the reason. That burning question is burning through all these different ways. It was burning. I might have to start writing this in here. Through the arguments with my family members, I'm talking pre-social media. It's not, but this has nothing to do with. I told y'all I'm the original dark-skinned activist. I created the dark-skinned lane. So we're talking the history here. In fact, this whole section is about the history. I'm laying out the history of how this all took place. So all of these things is the reason why and how. What time is it? I created dark skin activism. Oh, that was so fast. I told y'all she got back with me. That lady, I like this lady. I like her already. No bullshit. She got right back with me. That was just awesome. Oh, she's not the director anymore. Oh, damn. Somebody else is. Oh, there's new directors. Oh, she teaches Roman history. I like Roman history. I love European history. I'm just looking at her the email that she sent me, and I can see she's an associate professor of Roman history. Roman history is so interesting because it helps us to understand the American political system and the system of, and I would be willing to bet, and I got to do some more research into this, that Karl Marx, he definitely looked at Roman history in terms of developing the theory of Marxism. Because, hold on, y'all. If we look at the Romans, if we look at Roman history, I'm just looking at something right now. I had to just look that up real quick. That's what I was doing. I wanted to make sure because I always get confused on which class was which in terms of the plebeians and the patricians. Let me just send her a thank you email real quick. That was nice of her. Yeah, those dates are so confusing on there. She said they got to change the dates on there. But that was nice of her. I'm gonna follow up with those guys if they don't email me back. But she's really quick about it. Anyway, so if the plebeians, hold on one second, y'all. The plebeians were the lower class, and the patricians were the upper class. So it was a class system. See, Marxism is all about looking at class, examining a class system. All right. So if we look at Roman history, we will understand this whole class system in America. And the thing about the plebeians and the patricians that I remember the most, I did take one course on Roman history and just read several books about it, which you can do, or some people, they want to go watch a YouTube video, you can do that too. Whatever you prefer. Anyway, what sticks in my head the most is whenever the plebeians would become so discontented where they wanted to basically have some type of revolution or riot, the patricians, to quell it, they would give them concessions. Concessions. That is what is taking place in America. Concessions. But I mean, some could argue that the Trump administration is trying to remove some of those concessions. But we look at frameworks. That's another thing, y'all. I don't mean to go scholarly here. I'm really not trying to do that. I'm not. But when you're looking at systems, one of the ways to look at systems, political systems, economic systems, is to look at it in terms of frameworks. So we're looking at the framework of the capitalist system. And contained within that is the idea of concessions, because the people in power understand, like the Roman patricians understood, that, hey, we better give them the plebeians some concessions, or they might try to overthrow us. You understand? So that's what it is with the American capitalist system. Capitalist economic social system has implemented facets of the Roman system in terms of concessions. That's very, 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 very important. And in my book, Theory of Darkism, I'm going to be discussing that. I'm going to be discussing because in my mind, there's a link in terms of darkism. There's a link, and I can prove it. Everything I say. And, again, the value of education, whether it be self-education or through formal channels like a university, it is the reason why I'm able to put all this stuff together. It's why and how I created a new paradigm of darkism. from studying all of these different historical phenomena that is going on like way before my time. You look at it, you examine it, you study the people that came before you, and you create new paradigms. That's what dark skin activism is. That's why I'm writing this book. This is why this is so important to me. This is what the plagiarists need to understand. This brain work is going into this. Analyzing that is going into this. This is serious. And I think that YouTube is diluting that. YouTube is, in a sense, don't get me wrong, YouTube is great, because I'm going to upload this video on YouTube. But it's diluting the actual hard work and study and examination of a particular phenomenon. And we can't allow that to happen. I think, and especially in the Black community, we can't allow our children to just think that it's okay to go watch a YouTube video and that's all there is. You better go pick up Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. You better go study her. People will be studying in a university setting dark skin activism. It's going to happen. I could be dead. People are now studying Tupac Shakur. This is what we got to do. We need to respect intellectualism, scholarship. And I think that's what's missing from YouTube. Black people, we're missing that. We got a whole generation of kids going on YouTube thinking they know everything. Honey, there's people that have done way more than what you looking at on. That's the problem. That is the irony of YouTube. And that's why I'm hell bent on writing my book and promoting it, because I understand I'm no fool. The written word is king. That's why I keep writing all these books, and I'm not going to stop. So what I would like for you guys to do, because I got to get out of here. I'm going to keep editing. But go and get your copies of my books. You can go to my website, RashidaStrober.com. Also, donate to the Dark Skin is Beautiful campaign, because the money is going to go towards my production of A Dark Skin Woman's Revenge. I'm working on New York. And so I encourage you to donate. I encourage you to get every last one of my books and put it in your collection. Again, you can find the books at RashidaStrober.com. Hold on one second. And you can also find the GoFundMe at RashidaStrober.com. So go donate. Help me to continue to put out this great work. It's never been done before. New paradigm. Help me to put out this work. And I'm about to sign out. It's yours truly, Rashida Strober. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something, got something out of it. The world's first dark skin activist, Rashida Strober, the inventor of dark skin activism. Rashida Strober, the woman who put the whole issue of dark skin on the map, on the internet, all over the place. Rashida Strober, the queen of dark skin. And I don't say that to impress you. I say it because of the facts of actually putting in the work, doing the actual work offline for years, starting back in 1998 and bringing it to YouTube and social media and Facebook and Instagram. I'm all over the place. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. I'm going to keep on editing.